Bulldogs looking to bolster their NCAA tournament resumes. The West Virginia Mountaineers hosting the Cincinnati Bearcats. A great Wednesday evening, everybody, from WVU Coliseum. Alongside Fran Fraschilla, I'm Rich Hollenberg. So we already established the fact, huge game in the Big 12 slate for these two teams, and they each feature one of the most electrifying guards in the country.
Absolutely. Let's start with Javon Small, the transfer from Oklahoma State. He's been mainly responsible for 3 AP top 10 wins this year, nearly all by himself. Yeah, he's had help from his teammates, but this guy absolutely electric. I think, Rich, he makes an argument for Big 12 Player of the Year. Everybody in the league knows how good he's played. Jizzle James, on the other hand, the sophomore, has really come on late, on fire, knocking down 13 threes in his last 3 games. That electric ball handling, now he's adding the shooting, hard to guard.
And when you talk about what Jizzle's done in just his last 3 games, Fran, you can make the argument there is no hotter player in the nation than number 2 wearing black tonight, Jizzle James. 24.7 points per game, including a career-high 25 twice. These two proud basketball programs meeting for the 25th time. It's 12 wins and 12 losses for each of them. West Virginia in the home gold, and it's Cincinnati in the road black. Your officials, Doug Sermons, Chance Moore, and Tommy Johnson. We are underway, and Jizzle James controls the opening tip.
Being guarded by Sincere Harris, an outstanding ball hawk.
Josh Reed, 10 in black with the ball, making his first career start for the Bearcats. His first shot is up and good.
Well, Josh is a glue guy, defender, rebounder, ball mover, who's getting a chance to inject some energy into this Bearcat lineup.
The West Virginia starting 5, all transfers. Darren DeVries, first-year head coach, had to remake this roster on the fly, and he's done an excellent job doing so. First shot is good from Armani Hansberry.
Nicely done, and Small will get an assist on that for the dump down. Hansberry, the sophomore from Baltimore.
We mentioned Josh Reed making his first appearance in the starting lineup. The rest of them, mainstays in the starting lineup, including Day Thomas, who's really come on since he's been inserted into the first 5. He's off on his first shot. Here come the Mountaineers. The freshman Powell from the elbow, and it's good.
Nice looking player from Centerville, Ohio. He's had a good year. Some great freshmen in the league. A couple are off to the NBA right away. This young man has played really well for Darren DeVries.
Coming out of high school as the Ohio Player of the Year. West Virginia's made a habit of getting those kind of kids. Jizzle James's first shot off the mark, bothered by Harris. What does West Virginia like to do offensively, Frank?
Spread it, 5 out, move the ball, and obviously try to play through.
There's a double
Javon
team.
Small, yep.
Harris, baseline. The one more. Small's first shot. It's good.
What a season. What a season. If you haven't seen Javon Small, he's as good as any player in the Big 12 this year. That's not hyperbole. Coaches around the league will tell you that.
James, he's added the 3-point shot to his arsenal. He's off on that one.
Josh Reed at 6'7" is guarding Small to start this game. And they obviously will double him anytime there's a pick and roll.
West Virginia 3 for 3 to start this game out. They got off to a quick start when these teams first met in the beginning of the month. Harris, shovel pass. Hansberry can't pay it off. Here comes Cincinnati, 1 for their first 4.
Scoring has been an issue this year. Defensively, they're rock solid.
Day Thomas knocks it down for his first 2.
Day a starter full-time last year, only recently back in that lineup. Junior college transfer, who's been a rock solid player for Wes Miller for a couple seasons.
He started the last 5 games, and now a steal for the Bearcats. And Josh Reed's got his second bucket.
Well, you got an idea why Josh Reed's in the starting lineup, causing a little havoc early.
Has traditionally been an energy giver off the bench, a fan favorite with the ruckus, as they call the student section in Cincinnati. Mountaineers a 3-point lead, 10 seconds on the timer. Number 10 in goal, Harris. The skip pass, they gotta go. Powell knows it, fires from top of the key, and it's off the mark. Offensive rebound, West Virginia.
Another one by Amani Hansberry, the transfer from Illinois.
Here's Hansberry again from beyond the arc this time.
He can do it, Rich. He's a stretch big, can play inside. Played for a great high school coach at Mount St. Joe's in Baltimore, Pat Clatchy.
Dylan Mitchell, the left-hander, tried the three. It's off the mark, one and done for the Bearcats. Harris takes it, aggressive. He gets fouled and will go to the line. 15:26 to go. Offenses on display early. When we come back, we'll go streaking in the quad. Well, it was a sensational start to the year in Darren DeVries' first season with the Mountaineers. They picked up a multitude of Quad 1 wins, including 3 wins against top 10 teams, already tied for most in program history.
Yeah, they've done a great job. They've hit a little bit of a skid in conference play, although they have some key wins. But take a look, Rich. They're similar, but look at the Quad 1 wins. West Virginia has that advantage. In the last 6 games, they really are capable of winning 4 of them and getting to 10-10 and 19-12. And if they had this guy, Tucker DeVries, who was hurt earlier in the season, shoulder surgery, things are going great. He'll be back next year, unfortunately. Think about it. Tucker DeVries, Javon Small, I think they would have had 2 of the 8 best players in the league.
No doubt.
In a rebuilding first year for Darren DeVries. So, yeah, they miss him, but they've still got a chance.
To start out against a stout Cincinnati defense, they're 4 for 7 from the field, including 2 for 3 from 3. And now the first free throw of the game. Sincere Harris is good.
Yeah, I love this young man. He started at Illinois for 2 years. Great defensive player. He's from the hometown of LeBron James, same high school.
Yes, St. Vincent, St. Mary's.
Yeah, and just an absolute on-ball bulldog.
Those 2 free throws give West Virginia a 12-6 lead, doubling up the Bearcats. They handled the Bearcats by 13 when these teams met at Fifth Third Arena in Cincinnati earlier in the month. Here's Dan Skillings, usually a starter, has come off the bench, and they're looking for a spark from him.
Yeah, absolutely. So much promise coming into this season. Has not played as well as we thought, but they certainly need him in the final 6 games of the season. The junior from South Jersey. Now Dylan Mitchell has the Javon Small responsibility.
Hansberry doing work down low from the left side.
He's got a chance to be really good. Played on a great high school team, won 74 games in 2 years at Mount St. Joe's.
That shot off the mark. Skillings gets it back. And now a reset for the Bearcats. You talked about their offensive troubles. Last few games, they've averaged 83 a game. They've unlocked that offense.
Yeah, they have, and they played well at Iowa State on Saturday.
So here comes Javon Small, number 1 in the conference in scoring, number 3 in assists.
And they're keeping length on him tonight with Reed.
Here's O'Connor working on Skillings, goes window, no good. And C.J. Frederick making an early appearance. Now Day Thomas, 10 on the timer. And the crowd getting loud. 5 to shoot for Cincinnati. Nowhere to go for Thomas. And it's going to be a shot clock violation, but they picked the ball up before that. Harris lost the handle out of bounds. Tommy Johnson says it's going to be Cincinnati basketball. Well, Tucker DeVries has come over after a banner career as the head coach at Drake in Des Moines. 3 NCAAs in 4 years. He's the 2-time Missouri Valley Conference Coach of the Year and 6 straight 20-win seasons. And now he's plying his wares in one of the best conferences in basketball.
Yes, he is. Darren had a great run at Drake in Des Moines, and Tucker was his outstanding player. Tucker will be back next year. The good news there is they don't have to give him any NIL money.
He can share some of his dad's contract. So here's James. Quiet so far in the first 7+ minutes. Not so quiet on that touch.
Yeah, nice little scoop underneath. He has to stay aggressive down the stretch of the season. He's capable of getting that 25 on every night.
He had 17 in the first half against the Cyclones on Saturday. Backdoor cut. Javon Small matches Jizzle James.
He's going to be denied, Rich, all over the court. And one of the antidotes to that this season is that backdoor cut from the corner. Really nicely done.
6-point lead for West Virginia. Here's James. 2 for 2, back-to-back buckets from Jizzle James.
Well, I'll probably say it 10 times tonight, but he has to stay aggressive. You know, we saw VJ Edgecombe the other night in Waco, really picked it up in the second half of the game against Arizona. These guys have to manufacture offense for their teams right now.
Now 0 and goal, Eduardo Andre, the big man, on the floor for West Virginia. They go to work in the paint.
Another assist by Small.
Toby Okani, the beneficiary of that dime from Javon Small. The offense is clicking tonight for the Mountaineers.
Rich, we know he's unselfish. He will give the rock up, but when he doesn't have it, you got to make him better, and the backdoor cut does it nicely. Good start for the Mountaineers.
At the deep, undisturbed rest you deserve. Alongside Fran Fraschilla, I'm Rich Hollenberg. 2 extremely proud basketball programs headlined by 2 of the best basketball players of all time.
Yep, and they became very close friends. They were to the 60s what Magic and Bird were to the NBA in the 80s and Michael was in the 90s. Jerry West, an icon here. We lost him last year. Oscar's still going strong. We see him in Cincinnati on occasion. Rich, they met up in the regular season in the NBA 87 times. How about this? Oscar averaged 29, 7 rebounds, 10 assists. West averaged 28, 6 and 6. 2 of the greats of all time from these 2 proud programs.
And now the best shooting guard in America wins the Jerry West Award.
That's right.
And the National Player of the Year wins the Oscar Robertson Award. Here's the freshman, Tyler Betsy. Bombs away on your first look on the floor.
Well, the numbers are not great for Tyler, but he is a shooter. That was his rep coming out as a top 50 high school recruit. He's going to be a very good player and getting his chance down the stretch of his freshman season.
And he's heating up all of a sudden. 6 for his last 11 from 3. Here's Small. Don't get him started.
I'll tell you, Rich, we really liked him last year at Oklahoma State. He's definitely going to be first team all Big 12, and NBA teams really taking a hard look at this young man.
Javon Small had 19 points and 9 dimes in their win against Cincinnati earlier this year. He already has 8 tonight. Here's James. Off the mark, 1 and done. Andre the rebound.
Skillings has Small right now.
Small. Maybe a little bit of a heat check, looking for a foul there. Here comes James, right at Small. No whistle, out of bounds. It'll stay Cincinnati basketball. Coming up at 9 Eastern on ESPN right after us, Janai Broome and #1 Auburn host Arkansas. The Tigers taking down #2 Alabama Saturday on the road to stay atop the AP rankings for the 6th straight week. Franny, we saw them early in the year in a huge win against Houston. Are they the national championship odds-on favorite?
Well, I think they're definitely the best team in the country over the first 3 months of the season, no question. They've got depth, they've got scoring, they've got a great freshman, and they're so good that people don't know how good Tahad Pettiford is because we talk about everybody else. Chad Baker-Mazara, Dylan Caldwell's going to play in the NBA, the big fella that backs up Broome. Bruce Pearl's done an amazing job. That was a great win Saturday. I think that's why Houston went under the radar. They lost close games to Auburn and Alabama,
right,
and they're the quietest #5 team in the country right now.
And oh, by the way, they've only lost 1 game in Big 12 play. There's the lob. Cincinnati loves using it as much as any team in the country. Aziz Bandaogo tried for that one. He's 4th in the nation in dunks, but he got fouled instead.
Pick and roll, watch him escape the screen right now. Look how quickly he gets behind the defense. And a good pass and an easy call. Yeah, you have to call that a foul. First of all, it was a foul.
Yeah.
Despite what our Mountaineer fan friends think. And secondly, you have to call that when a player's airborne like that.
You mean the maniacs behind us didn't think that was a foul?
I love them, but doesn't mean I can't disagree with them. This young man is from the NBA Africa Academy in Senegal, coached really well by a guy named Roland Houston, former URI star. And Aziz has really improved.
66% free throw shooter, goes 1 for 2 in that trip. A 5-point West Virginia lead. They've led from the outset. 9:50 to go in the first half. Now it's the freshman, KJ Tenner, running the point with Joseph Yesufu in the backcourt with him, and Yesufu has the scoop shot.
Joe's made the circle of life move to West Virginia. He started his career at Drake with Darren DeVries, then to Kansas, then to Washington State. He's gotten to be in about 48 states.
That shot rolls off. Loose ball, handled by Betsy. Now Thomas. Off the mark, shots not falling for the Bearcats.
Open court for Small.
And Day Thomas, an excellent defender. And they force the turnover.
Really nice play by Bandaogo. The big fella got his hands on that pocket pass.
Betsy gonna try it from the other wing. Not this time. Weak side rebound to Yesufu.
Joe can shoot it. Both of these teams playing what we call a 5-out offense. They play through the center, and that's why it gives you space. When you spread the defense out in that 5-out, it opens up the court for really good back cuts. Great example right there.
Javon Small averages 18.6 a game. He's in the double digits already. First one in the game. Largest lead of the night so far for the Mountaineers. 5 on the shot clock. James, a deep 3. Off the mark.
Had to shoot that, a little out of his range.
Here's the freshman Tenner, and he draws the foul on Jizzle James. We have a timeout on the floor. The Mountaineers looking for their 7th Big 12 win and another quad 1 win to add to their resume.
This is what we call an empty side back cut. You see the 3 defenders opposite. It's a little 2-man basketball. It's supposed to be a screen and roll, but they don't let Small get to the middle, so he pitches it to the top and then back cuts the defender, and they've got a lot of room there. Javon Small's gravity of being so good with the ball actually opens up cuts when he's off the ball, and that's a perfect example right there. But we got an issue.
Yeah, Fran, you might have seen at the very end of that layup being made, Javon Small came up a little bit lame. He limped off the court during that timeout. He's back on, and now he's at the bench, not on the floor. He's not going to be playing right now. We'll keep an eye on that and let you know if we hear any news about it.
And luckily for Darren DeVries, he's back on.
So now it's the freshman Tenor and Joe Yesufu in the back. As Cincinnati looks to cut into what is the largest lead of the night for West Virginia.
Cincinnati's very tentative offensively. I tell you, he's either going to get taped up tighter or he's tying his shoe tighter, Rich. We used to wear the Converse canvas Chuck Taylors back in the day. Nobody sprained their ankle.
The low tops.
Nobody sprained their ankle back then. 2
on the shot clock.
Can't do this.
Thomas got it up, and no. Are they going to count it?
They're going to check it, Rich.
Yeah.
But what I think is happening with Cincinnati is they're passing up good shots in the offense and then being forced to take tough ones. They got it off. Looked like to me he did.
Well, you mentioned this at the top of the telecast, friend. There's still 6 games left in the Big 12 for Cincinnati, but this feels like an absolute must-win. They only have one quad 1 win on the year.
Yeah, and it's as big a game for them as it is for West Virginia, obviously, because as we mentioned earlier, West Virginia has 5 quad 1 wins. Cincinnati has a little bit easier schedule down the stretch with which to make up some ground on teams in the league.
Well, Wes Miller has put his stamp on this Cincinnati program in his 4th season in the Queen City, and you see the schedule that we're talking about. Saturday, they take on a TCU team that just upset Texas Tech. Baylor at Houston is a tough game.
Be honest, they can win 4 out of 5 of those
Absolutely
games.
They can.
And going to Houston, obviously the odds are against them, but it's a huge opportunity game if they can catch Houston napping, which Houston's guys don't take naps because they're usually in the gym.
Hansberry off to the left. Skillings clears for Cincy. Got to be careful.
So you got to shoot that.
That's what you meant by tentative.
Yeah, don't be tentative. But in this case, Reed's a good post-up guy. I don't mind that.
Hansberry with an early 7 points. Gives it up, nearly turns it over. Dylan Mitchell, an excellent defender.
And Powell right now one-dimensional, just a shooter. Hansberry can shoot it.
He does, and he's off the mark. He's missed his last few. No Javon Small on the floor right now, nursing a little bit of a foot injury that we noticed before the last time out. Have to see where that West Virginia offense is generated from.
He's not out long, Rich.
He's coming to the scorer's table right now. 10 on the timer. Cincinnati's offense has stalled out in the first half. Here's a deep 3, and it's good. That one's from Star City, friend.
They don't, I love Thomas and James. They're both tough, hard-nosed kids. Neither is the distributor that a Javon Small is. So when they're on, obviously Cincinnati's a different team. Tenor, not a shooter, more of a playmaker.
Harris, baseline, 5 on the shot clock.
Got to shoot it.
Another deep 3. This one from Powell, around and out. And Bandego chases it down. Interesting, we talked to Tucker DeVries earlier today about the first time these teams played, and he said it was a little misleading because they made a lot of late shot clock shots.
Yeah.
Right now, Cincinnati's the team that's doing that.
And West Virginia's offense is bogged down without Small.
Here's a turnover. Yesufu goes to the hole strong, comes up empty. Saved by Harris.
Oh, nice pass.
Corner 3, a little short.
That's a shot you got to make. Joe's capable of that. Joe's a career 33% shooter during all his stops.
Here's Skillings. He's got another 2. A tough 2 for Dan.
And he's got to stay aggressive.
Dan Skillings scored 18 points in each of his first 3 Big 12 games. But since then, it has been a big-time struggle for him.
Yep, last 8, only 6 points a game, to your point.
We have a timeout on the floor. Things expectedly chippy between the Mountaineers and the Bearcats. Thank you, Zubin. Well, the story of the game right now is Javon Small as usual. 10 points to lead all scorers, but look at him shaking his left foot after that missed jumper. He went down, he had a layup after that, had to tighten up his shoe, and luckily for Darren DeVries and the Mountaineers, he's back on the floor.
Nothing that we didn't do in the schoolyard, Rich. Tighten up your sneakers, man. He's a tough kid and having a fabulous year. 10 points, some assists. I think, and I've had coaches tell me this, I think he's the best player in the Big 12 this season. Doesn't mean he's going to be the player of the year. He's on a team that's in the middle, bottom of the pack. He'll definitely be first team all-league, but he's probably as a valuable player as any team has in this league. Some of the great teams in this league have 2 and 3 candidates for player of the year.
This is my first time seeing him in person. He has remade his body since last year in Stillwater.
He has, yeah. And he had a good junior year for Mike Boynton.
And Hansberry, he's been aggressive offensively, 7 points. He'll go to the line and look to add to that.
Cincinnati foul call points 10. Josh Reed was first. Team's 30.
Remember Phil Booth, who played on those great Villanova teams? He came out of St. Joe's, Mount St. Joe's, and this young man, terrific 2 years at Mount St. Joe's in Baltimore.
He had 8 points and 11 rebounds when these teams faced off in Cincinnati earlier in the season. 2 of the top teams in the ACC, highlighting our ESPN2 Thursday night women's basketball schedule. Number 11 Duke hosting Louisville at Cameron Indoor. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern. And since we're in Morgantown, a little shout out to the Lady Mountaineers. JJ Quinterly, 26 points last night, or Monday night, to beat number 17 Kansas State.
Kansas State coming off a tough couple weeks. They got blown out at Oklahoma State. Coach Mitty's got an excellent team. They've built a great foundation here in Morgantown with the women's basketball.
And that one's off the window for Tyler Betsy.
What I liked about that, Rich, as I mentioned this earlier, he's got to stay aggressive. Some of these guys like Betsy, Thomas, obviously James, when they're open, they don't want to pass up a good shot and shoot a contested shot.
No James on the floor right now for Wes Miller.
Right now, Dylan Mitchell playing the 5 spot.
And Josh Reed, 10 in black, is face guarding Javon Small. 5 on the timer for the Ears.
Gonna have to go.
They don't see it, and it's a turnover. Shot clock violation, and the Bearcat bench loves it.
Harris is not going to shoot the 3. That's not his strength, but he got caught over dribbling that time. And by the time he passed it to Powell, they were going to come up empty, and Darren DeVries not happy with that possession.
That's the Mountaineers' 4th turnover. The average under 11 turnovers a game. Take good care of the basketball for most of this season.
One of the things they've done a great job this year on is at the defensive end.
Skillings didn't get away with it.
Right on cue. Yep. This West Virginia team has a top 20 defense, and when we saw them even going back to Atlantis, what we love, watch him move his feet now. And what I like about that call, Rich, is that if you're going to take a charge now, it's got to be with your chest. You no longer can ride the guy along the side and get the cheap offensive foul. He took that right in the middle of his chest.
Javon Small, both ends of the floor, a difference maker. 3-time Big 12 Player of the Week. The only other player that can say that, Hunter Dickinson. Here's the big man, Andre, on the baseline. The step through.
Nice.
And Andre, number 0, has 2. And a chance for 3.
What I like about this is he's not going to elevate above the rim, so he used the rim on the other side to put the defender in jail. Watch this. See, he gets on the other side of that rim, and the only way to block this is really to go through the net. And a smart play by the Fresno State transfer, also played at Nebraska.
That's the 2nd foul on Josh Reed for Cincinnati. And Andre completes the 3-point play. Just a 52% free throw shooter, but he looked good there. And that extends West Virginia's lead up to 4 with 2:17 to go. No Jizzle James on the floor. Where does the offense run through now?
You know, Skillings would be ideal if he can get out of that slump, and I love when he drives it. Betsy can shoot it.
2 minutes to go in the first half. There's Betsy on cue, but off to the right. Offensive rebound, Bandego.
Aziz has been playing really well lately, especially offensively.
That one blocked from behind. Okani leads the break. Gets it back and off the back iron, but it's tapped back by Andre.
Nice job of tipping it out by Andre. I'd get it back to Small right here. Let him go to work.
The freshman Betsy trying to check him. Now Dylan Mitchell switches onto him.
Good matchup.
Andre blocked under the rim. And another defensive stand by Cincinnati.
Yeah, Aziz did not have to jump there. He just put his hands to the ceiling.
Counting down to 1 minute to go in the first half. Cincinnati led 2-0. West Virginia's led the rest of the way. 8 to shoot. Thomas does. He's short. And Small clears.
Let's see if he goes 2 for 1 right here. Oh, great save.
Behind the back from Skillings. He gets it back. Now in the open floor, puts it in the spin cycle. You saw everything but the bucket there from Dan Skillings.
Well, watch Skillings on the other end, Rich. This is a terrific hustle play. Saves it, flips it behind his back, off to the other end. Came up empty, but great effort.
So it's West Virginia ball, 39.7 to go in the half. They are 1 for their last 9 from the field. Everybody catches their breath, and we play ball.
Cincinnati's done a good job of putting length on Small tonight. Haven't necessarily bottled him up.
About a 10-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock.
Nice.
Hansberry, and they wave it off. He traveled. That's the 5th West Virginia turnover.
Good idea. Tommy Johnson felt that Amani shuffled his feet. Let's take a look right here. He did. Yep. Those referees are trained to officiate from the feet up. Unfortunately, he did. Next year, he won't. Still growing and improving.
And now it's going to be last shot time for the Bearcats. C.J. Frederick, number 5, a career 41% three-point shooters on the floor for Wes Miller. He's guarded by Yesufu. 3 seconds in the half. And a whistle called before time runs out. They stop the clock at 1.7 seconds.
Good foul. That foul was by design. It's Thomas with the ball with Jizzle James on the bench with 2 fouls. That's only their 13th foul, Rich, so really smart foul. Now you need a catch and shoot play here. And keep in mind, they got C.J. Frederick out there, who is a sniper.
They don't see him. Instead, they go for the lob.
Oh, they got it.
They get it. Dylan Mitchell, the high flyer, the recipient of the sidelines out of bounds. Alley-oop to end the half.
Great thing about that play was he jumped vertically over the defender. Didn't go over his back. He just jumped straight up with that unique athleticism. Take a look right here. The defender goes to the 5th floor and Mitchell goes to the penthouse.
And what a look by Josh Reed, throwing it right to the front of the rim, exactly where Dylan Mitchell needed it. West Virginia leads by 2. They're 13-3 this year when they lead at the half. Now we send it to the halftime report. Zubin Mehenti and Sean Farnham will take it from here. Gentlemen.
Rich, Coach, thank you.
In the shadow of the statue of one of the great all-time basketball players, Jerry West, we are back inside WVU Coliseum. More Big 12 basketball on a Wednesday night. From WVU Coliseum, courtside with Fran Fraschilla. I'm Rich Hollenberg. So it's a close contest. West Virginia leads by 2. We started off talking about 2 of the most electrifying guards in the country. Let's check on their first half performance.
Yeah, Javon Small was solid. He played almost 17 minutes. He had 10 points. Defense has really keyed on him. He's still been able to get loose, knock down some shots, move off the ball, get some cuts. Pretty good first half. Jerry West would have liked that first half. Jizzle James saddled with 2 fouls. A slow start, but here's the good news, Rich. He scored 4 more points than he did in the opening meeting between these 2 teams when he was held scoreless. So he's got to get it going. Foul trouble not an issue now, and they need a big second half from him.
Some way, somehow, the West Virginia defense has the cheat code on Jizzle James. How have they bottled him up so much?
You know, honestly, tonight I don't think they've really done that. I think fouls have bottled him up. So he's got to stay. I think the big thing is he's got to stay aggressive and look for his own shot. If it means taking a couple tough shots, that's fine.
You mentioned the word tough. There's Javon Small on your screen right now. Had to check out for a moment or 2 to lace up the sneaker a little bit tighter. Might have rolled an ankle on one jump shot.
I'm not going to give him too much credit for that. Just tie it up tight and let's play. And he's a tough guy anyway.
That is indeed what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's on the floor, number 7 in goal, the leading scorer in this game so far with 10. Leading scorer in the Big 12 this season with just under 19 a game.
And they put Reed on him again. That leaves Hansberry open. Nice move. He's got to finish those. He's had a couple at the rim, Amani, and they got to go. Nice. Watch
Great
this.
look
and
a dunk.
Good transition. Dylan Mitchell, one of the best athletes in the country. High energy. Not surprised he was able to get up the court so quickly.
That is his 54th dunk of the year for Dylan Mitchell. That's 5th in the nation.
Well, he's got him.
Here's O'Connor, now Small, guarded by Reed, 8 on the timer.
Yeah, Javon does not need a ball screen.
Now he gets doubled.
Gotta shoot it.
Skip pass, Powell. And the freshman off the mark.
Javon Small does not need a ball screen tonight if there's a bigger guy guarding him like Reed.
Here's James. He is a master in the mid-range, Fran.
I'm telling you, Rich, nobody really stopped him in the first half. He stopped himself. He's got such command of the dribble that he can get anywhere he wants.
Here's the pocket pass. Hansberry finishes.
Nicely done. That time the big fella finished.
Armani Hansberry, the second Mountaineer in double digits. He has 10. James and Small, this is the matchup we signed up for. James off the mark. Bandego clears. And a fresh 20 for the Bearcats. Jizzle off the mark yet again.
Remember, Jizzle's been really hot behind the arc the last 3.
And Sincere Harris hangs and hits his first field goal tonight.
I think Sincere's got to stay aggressive going to the rim. He drove into the lane in the first half, passed up some drives, chances to get fouled.
Here's a lob, and Bandego finishes from Jizzle James.
Well, he caught Hansberry watching the paint dry, because what Bandego does as well as any big man is he gets out of the screen quickly. It's almost a ghost screen.
And that is the sweet spot of the Cincinnati offense.
Let's take a look, Rich. Bandego really good. It looks like he's going to set a screen, but he disappears and just sprints to the rim and really just is very adept at catching that lob pass. Good hands by the big fella.
O'Connor thought about it. Off the back iron and a foul on the floor. We're going the other way.
And when you said he thought about it, my first reaction was, shoot it. Don't think about it. He came off the screen. He was open, and then he shot himself into a contested shot.
All season long, without the services of Tucker DeVries, Darren DeVries' West Virginia Mountaineers have really struggled to score the basketball and rebound the basketball. Tonight, they're doing a little bit of a better job on the rebounding end.
Shoot it.
James does off the back iron, but another tap back. And a deep three from Day Thomas.
Mitchell, Dylan Mitchell, hustle guy, glue guy, keeps that ball alive, kicks it out, and Day gets an open look. Watch Dylan Mitchell, former top 5 high school recruit. He knows who he is. He's an energy guy. Kick out, open shot, looking good for.
Fran Fraschilla, the Cincinnati offense has come alive in the second half.
And it usually starts with lobs. They have 2 guys that can go catch it in Bandego. Dylan Mitchell certainly can throw it down, and then we've seen Jizzle James start to heat up just a little bit. 2 fouls in the first half. Aggressive to start the second half, and Cincinnati offense looking pretty good right now.
They have scored on 4 of their 5 possessions in the second half, and what has been largely a West Virginia lead ever since it was 2-0 Cincinnati. All of a sudden, the first 3 minutes and change of the second half, we've had 3 ties and 3 lead changes.
You know how amazing it is, Rich, that they lost Tucker DeVries, and every single player on this roster on West Virginia is a transfer that was not here last year, and they're still competitive and in contention for an NCAA bid. Good ISO right here. Oh, nice!
What a tough 2. Jonathan Powell.
Well, they set that up out of the timeout to drive the little guard, and Jonathan Powell's more of a catch-and-shoot guy. Good setup, another good tip out by the bigs. That time Bandego. That's an old Dean Smith, North Carolina play. Of course, Wes Miller was on the national championship team in '05.
Jizzle doing a little dancing, but can't knock down the J.
Good push.
Now Powell.
Little short. Good look. Game's opening up a little bit, Rich. You feel it?
Yeah. A little more flow in the second half than we saw in the first. 2 teams that hang their hat on defense.
I like these shots. Both teams are starting to get good looks and take them.
Harris found the seam. West Virginia back on top by 1. Nice backdoor cut, but it's rejected by West Virginia. Harris again at the rim. This time a circus shot doesn't go. Now O'Connie takes a turn on Jizzle James.
Day-Day's been aggressive too, Day Thomas.
Mitchell, he's a lefty, and he's in his office now.
He saw the mismatch and he went right at it. Eduardo a little late getting over there. Big fellow Eduardo Andre, good shot blocker, a little too late.
And now Mitchell draws Javon Small on his defensive assignment. Powell taking it strong to the cup again. And we have a foul, and it's going to be on West Virginia. Timeout on the floor. We've got a back-and-forth contest in the Big 12 tonight.
Offense picking up a little bit. Jonathan Powell, the freshman, to the rim hard. Good finish inside. Back on the other end, Sincere Harris coming in your living room with the drive to the hoop.
Back inside WVU Coliseum alongside Fran Fraschilla, Rich Hollenberg. Here's some Big 12 headlines as we head down the home stretch, Fran.
Yeah, but ISU back on track. They got Milan Momcilovic back. He's fit right back in. Houston with a tough stretch. Of course, they've handled every tough stretch this season. Go to Arizona State and Arizona this weekend, coming away with a sweep. JT Toppin's been on fire, dominating inside, although Texas Tech upset last night at TCU. We will be, John Shambi and I will be in Lubbock, Texas on Monday as Houston goes to Texas Tech. Little inside screen.
And Dago blocked from behind by Andre, but they call the foul on the big man.
Good little set play out of the timeout. They screen for the corner, then they screen across, and pet play. Yep. Take a look now. Here's a screen for the man coming to the corner, then the back screen. And Bandego gets open inside. He'll shoot 2 free throws. Nice set. That's a set that a guy named Stu Morrill used quite a bit. Great coach out at Utah State. We all stole that from him.
Aziz at the line for the second time tonight. He misses. And to make matters worse for West Virginia, that is the 3rd foul on their big man, Eduardo Andre.
Well, they got 10 fouls because they're substituting Hansberry and Andre liberally. Chick-fil-A maybe on the miss. Nope.
I guess Aziz is more of a PDQ guy. 2-point Bearcats lead, 39-37, looking for an enormous quad 1 win on the road in the Big 12 to pad their NCAA tournament resume. Here's Hansberry. He's had a good night offensively, not that time.
These are good looks. Good looks. Small being guarded by bigger guys now. He's been more of a facilitator. At some point, he's going to have to aggressively look for his own.
James, hostage dribble. The lob, wave it off. There's a foul on the floor. That's going to be on Harris.
I like that. You've learned well on that hostage dribble, right?
I am your Luke Skywalker to your Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I like it. Let's tell people it's a hostage dribble because once the defender gets behind the man with the ball just keeps you, he holds you hostage. You can't get back in front. Very good, Mr. Hollenberg.
It's only taken me 10 years.
No, less than that.
How about that? Jizzle James from the mid-range.
He's going to stay aggressive. It's got to be the strategy in the next 13 minutes. This guy's got to be aggressive too. Even though bigs are guarding him.
Largest lead of the night right now for the Bearcats on the road in enemy territory. Fran, your New York Knicks are headlining our NBA Friday doubleheader. Jalen Brunson and the Coys in Cleveland to take on Donovan Mitchell and the Eastern Conference leading Cavs. That's at 7 Eastern. Then it's off to Houston for Jalen Green and the Rockets hosting Anthony Edwards and the T-Wolves. NBA Countdown tips off our coverage at 6:30, and of course, a lot of Mountaineer fans will be watching that game. Deuce McBride, chipping in 23 minutes a game for the Knicks.
Yeah, Deuce has come a long way. 2nd round pick, only was here 2 years. I thought he was going to stay a 3rd. What do I know? He's turned into a really good NBA player, and I thought he was going to be anyway.
Small, tough shot, but they got it back. Here's O'Connor from the corner. 3 balls not falling tonight. Even for Javon Small, the leading scorer in the Big 12. Ripped away. And they still can't get a bucket.
Good opportunity for the Bearcats to open this up a little bit.
And an air ball from the freshman Tyler Betsy. And he'll hear it from the Mountaineer Maniacs.
I'd like to see Javon go downhill to the rim. He's been really unselfish, but I don't think he's guardable to the rim. How about that? No, can't stay in front of him. He's so unselfish, Rich, but there's times where he just has to do it himself.
Found that second gear, he has a dozen. 12 minutes to go in this one. Another lob, and Mitchell finishes with the dime from Day-Day.
Hansberry's got to keep dropping and backing up. That's exactly what Darren DeVries is telling him. You can't let your man get behind you on the screen and roll.
Now Day-Day Thomas face guarding Javon Small. 5 to shoot. Yesufu.
Is it going to go?
Got fouled in the lane, and he will go to the line and shoot a pair.
All right, Rich, they've got to make this correction at the timeout. When you're guarding and pick and roll, the screener cannot get behind you. And you see Amani right there, he's backstepping, but not with these high flyers. Excellent execution by the Bearcats. Well, Cincinnati is an excellent lob catching team, but let's take a look. Amani Hansberry wants to help on the ball screen, but the cardinal sin here is don't let the screener get behind you. He looks like he's helping, he's backpedaling, but not good enough when you have the high flyers like Mitchell and Bandego. So Darren DeVries not happy with this. I'm sure he's going to correct that. Amani wants to be in position to help the guard, but he's also got to make sure that screener doesn't get behind him, and I'm sure that was a point of emphasis in that last timeout.
So as we went to the most recent timeout, Joseph Yesufu got fouled on the shot. He is at the line. A 68% free throw shooter on the year, and he's got the first. Coming up at 9 Eastern on ESPN, Janai Broome and #1 Auburn hosting the Arkansas Razorbacks. The Tigers took down #2 Alabama Saturday in Tuscaloosa to stay atop the AP rankings. And now they've got Coach Cal's club.
Yep, coming off a road loss at Texas A&M Saturday. The league is unbelievable. You know what's amazing about the league? I didn't realize this. I'll be in College Station this weekend with Dave Pasch. 75% of the starters in the SEC are seniors.
How about that?
And when you look at the best players in the league, the Mark Searses, the Janai Brooms, they're all either 4th or 5th year seniors. They're all gone. It's going to be an interesting transition next year, as so many of these great teams are going to lose key guys. Chaz Lanier at Tennessee, Ziegler. But the perfect storm this year, because they're all back and they're all playing great. They're well coached.
Do you believe 13 teams can make it into the tournament?
I don't think it's going to be 13. I think it's going to be 12 or more likely 11, but certainly it's going to be the 11-12. Now, if it's 12, it's an all-time record. Big East 2011 put 11 in.
Hansberry
He
kept
traveled.
the pivot foot. No, he
Nope.
didn't. He traveled with it.
Amani's got to go up quicker.
Well, not only is the SEC having a banner year top to bottom, but they are top heavy nationally. Auburn, Alabama, Florida, all projected 1 seeds by
Well,
Joey
and you
Brackets.
look at Florida with the Walter Clayton Jr., who's an All-American.
Yeah.
Wade Taylor, the 4th, another senior. It's going to be a very interesting NCAA tournament, because it's a now or never situation, at least momentarily, for Auburn and Alabama. They're so good.
James takes it himself.
He's a bulldog. He's got such command of the basketball, it's really hard to stay in front of him.
He only had 4 points in the first half, already 6 in the second half.
You asked me what he's got to do to get going. I said stay out of foul trouble.
Right, and he has.
Yeah.
Cincy trying to protect what is their largest lead of the night. It's 4, and a foul on the floor.
Cincinnati foul call number 14.
As we said, Rich, a lot at stake for both of these teams. They're both kind of teetering on that NCAA. They're not necessarily on the bubble yet, but they're both capable, if they can make runs and win some games, of being on that bubble, especially West Virginia.
4 top 25 wins, 3 of them against top 10 teams at the time of their victories. That one goes out of bounds, and it'll be Bearcats basketball. And the West Virginia offense frustrated.
Yeah, and Small's a little frustrated, but he can't stay frustrated because they have to sink or swim with him. He's not making the shots he normally makes, but he can't drop his head. And the beauty of Day Thomas in the starting lineup is it takes Jizzle James off the ball.
Ten on the timer. Here's number 10, Josh Reed. Guarded by Small. 2 to shoot. Mitchell does and nails the 3.
Really good read by Josh Reed. With about 6, he looked at the far shot clock, and he knew he had plenty of time to get a dribble or 2 to draw that defender in. And Dylan had to shoot it. It's improved. It's not great, but it's certainly better than it was his first 2 years.
His 7th three-pointer this season, but it gives him 11 on the night. And now they're going to check this. I think his foot was
no,
on the line.
That'll be a 2. Yep,
Yeah.
that'll be a 2. That'll be corrected at the 8-minute mark. So whatever the score is right now, it's not really a 6-point lead. It'll be 5. They don't want to stop the game because they can correct it at the TV timeout. Good shot clock.
So for those of you watching at home and playing along, our score is the correct score right now.
Right now.
Here's James. Finds his way to the hole, but a foul on the floor before the shot.
There's that hostage dribble again. Once he got Tenor on his back, he would not let him get back in front, and he held him hostage.
I mean, the tear that Jizzle James has been on the last 3 games, he's the first Bearcat since Deontay Vaughn back in 2008 to have 3 straight games of 24 or more points. He's one of only 2 major conference players this year who have had 3 straight such games and shot 55% from the field in all 3. There are heaters, and then there are Jizzle James heaters.
He's been guarded well tonight because Harris can defend. I get it back to Jizzle and let him play with the ball.
Bearcats have scored on 7 of their last 8.
Give it back to him. Nice.
Mitchell kicks it out to Reed. 3 on the timer. And that one hit the top of the backboard. And that foul's going to go on Josh Reed. So that's the 3rd on Reed. Dan Skillings already has 3, and Jizzle James with 2 for Cincinnati.
The strategy of putting bigger guys on Javon Small, I don't think it necessarily been a huge issue, but it looks almost like it spooked him a little bit. It's been Reed, it's been Mitchell.
And right now it's Day Thomas,
right,
who's one of the best on-ball defenders in the league.
But Javon's got to stay aggressive. Oh, he had him.
Andre nearly lost it, and another foul call.
The cutter was open. Yesufu was open.
And Sincere Harris is telling Andre.
Yeah, but he's not a great passer. That's the problem. See, we love Andre's effort, but he's not going to pass from there. Pressure on him up top. There's the foul by Jizzle.
So now Jizzle James back to the bench. His first foul of the second half, but it's his 3rd on the game.
See, I think Javon's got to stay aggressive. See?
Here's Yesufu. Skillings with 3 fouls.
Get it to Javon.
Yesufu rises up, can't knock it down. Bendego clears. A 6-point Cincinnati lead. Couple ticks away from 8 minutes to go in the game. This would be an enormous quad 1 win, just their 2nd of the year for the Bearcats.
Comes off a poor performance in their opening game against West Virginia in Cincinnati.
5 to shoot. Mitchell misses at close range, and a late whistle on that one. And that's on what are Andre's 4th foul. 7:44 to go, a 2-possession ball game in M-Town. Thanks, Ubin. You know, one of the things I noticed when they were showing that quad box, a lot of blowouts in college hoops tonight. Not here in Morgantown. We've got a bit of a nail biter, but some hesitant bad news for the Bearcats. Their star, Jizzle James, is now saddled with 4 fouls, Fran. How do they rebound from that?
Well, they'll probably, depending on how this game goes, and they have a lead, they'll keep him out until about the 5-minute mark. And, hey, he's had a lot of games this year where he didn't do what he's done the last 3 games. It's incumbent upon guys like Mitchell, Betsy, Day Thomas, Skillings. Remember, no Lukosius tonight. Out with that shoulder injury, watching from the sideline.
Mitchell 0 for 2.
You got to file that away, because I love everything about Dylan Mitchell except the shooting, and you got to think about fouling him down the stretch if you're West Virginia.
Just a 41% free throw shooter is Dylan Mitchell. Yesufu pulls his way to the basket.
That's the second time Darren DeVries has set up an ISO. You remember the drive by Powell earlier in the half? Same exact play, that time Yesufu. Watch Harris. Harris loves to defend the ball.
4-point game. The foul's going to go on Hansberry.
If I'm a Monty Hansberry, one of the things I would work on in the offseason, because I think he could be a very good player here, is lateral quickness and movement. He's got to move his feet on those lobs better, and he's got to move his feet on those pick and rolls a little bit better. There's a lot to work with the sophomore from Baltimore.
Tay-Day Thomas misses the front end. It's out of bounds, and it'll be Bearcats basketball.
Good job by Skillings to keep that ball alive. West Virginia not blocking out on the free throw.
So Cincinnati shooting free throws on every subsequent West Virginia foul. 7 minutes to go in this game. Unfortunately for the Bearcats, they are not a good free throw shooting team.
Good job by Hansberry there.
Now Yesufu checking the freshman Betsy. 2 on the shot clock. Skillings has to get it up. Nope. He doesn't. It's a shot clock violation caused by the Mountaineers defense.
Got to recognize that.
And Javon Small brings the ball up the court, but it's Joseph Yesufu who has been the voice of this Mountaineers offense.
Oh, and Reed still guarding Small, 6'8", 6'3". Those matchups have been good tonight for Cincinnati.
Harris rolls off. Offensive rebound from Hansberry.
Nice kick out.
Powell wide open. Got it!
Nice kick out by Hansberry.
And a timeout call by Wes Miller after the dagger 3 from West Virginia. The crowd inside WVU Coliseum. They're on their feet in Morgantown. Dagger 3s, what do we mean by that?
Well, Bob McKillop gave me that saying a long time ago. Watch the effort by 13 of Monty Hansberry. He's thinking about shooting it at the rim. He doesn't really have a good feel for where he is, so he finds the open man, and that's a great look, a good heads-up play by the sophomore. Really love his long-term potential, Rich. He's a very cerebral player.
A lot of teams' best offenses. I'm thinking about the Houston Cougars.
Oh, yeah.
Comes from offensive rebounds leading to threes.
Well, the defense is scrambled, and that's why you want to shoot that 3. Oh, that's an over and back.
And James back on the floor with those 4 fouls, commits the turnover.
Really not his fault. It was the passer, but it was right in front of us. We could see it. Watch James. He's still going to be in the backcourt when he catches it. Skillings is getting rid of it.
Have to have both feet on the floor in the front court. 1-point game. West Virginia has led for most of it, but they've trailed for most of the second half. Small will go to the line.
That's what I want to see him doing, Rich, because the bigger guys cannot stay in front of him. Tonight, Javon has been very unselfish, and when he's felt the double team or the big fella on him, he's given it up, quite frankly, to players who aren't as talented as he is, which is a good attribute, but there's a point in the game, like right now, maybe 5:41 to go, take over the game.
Among the many things Javon Small does well, he shoots free throws at an elite clip, 88%. And he makes the first.
This is a young man from South Bend, Indiana, lightly recruited, played for Joe Dooley at East Carolina. and then put his name in the portal. We saw him last year at Oklahoma State. And no surprise to us that he's been so good this year, because we saw him do it against Big 12 competition last year.
And friend of the program, Ken Pomeroy, who is one of the deans of analytics, says Javon Small is one of the top 10 player of the year candidates.
Yes,
for him.
I think he's number 8 as of today. Got to think about got to think about Jizzle soon, and he's on the court now with the 4 fouls.
Thomas. Ball goes out of bounds, and West Virginia has a chance to add to their 1-point lead.
And the one issue with Cincinnati, and there have been a few, but the one that stood out to me this year is, as dynamic as both guards are, they're not drive it and kick it guys. They're more one-on-one players. They're good at it, but hard for those guys to get other people involved because they're so good at getting their own. There you go.
Small. Looked like he might have slipped.
How about Hansberry? What an effort.
Again with the offensive board.
Great effort. He's got it.
And that one's swatted away by Bandego.
Good job by Aziz. Great defense.
Reed playing with 4 fouls. No good, 1 and done for Cincy.
This is a postseason elimination game in many ways, and you can feel it in this building. I still like Small's aggressiveness.
Powell, catch and release, and it's an air ball. Hansberry got it back and got fouled on the floor by Bandego.
And Amani's going to go to the line, I believe.
Cincinnati foul ball number 55.
Both teams in the bonus.
And Amani's slightly under 80 this year. It's a young man that played quality minutes last year at Illinois. He dropped 8 against UConn in the Elite 8. Of course, that wasn't enough. They needed another 40 more.
And bodies go flying. They might have to get the sweeper out there, and they do.
Yep. Good stroke by Amani. Assistant coach Chet Frazier is on that West Virginia bench. He's a former Illini star, Baltimore guy. He's back on the East Coast. You see Chester kneeling down right there. He's going to be a great head coach. And he was the Amani, Hansberry, Sincere Harris connection to these 2 guys.
West Virginia on a 9-0 run. They have themselves a 2-point lead. Now 3 with that second free throw. James. It's winning time.
Big time. Big time. He's been the go-to guy the last 4 games. Remember, he did not score against this team in the first game.
He has 13 now, and we are tied at 50. The 6th tie of the night. Hansberry. What a night for Armani Hansberry. His career high is 19. He has 15 tonight. James. A little bit of a heat check off to the left.
Scramble.
And since he has it, it didn't hit the rim, so the clock is winding down. 7 to shoot. Thomas, left hand, no. And Hansberry comes away with it. Armani Hansberry has 15 points and now 12 rebounds.
Good, solid night. I'd call it a career night for the sophomore from Baltimore.
Here he is again. He looks exhausted out there. But the freshman Powell's not.
Got a freshman and a sophomore getting it done for the Mountaineers. Watch the pass. Hansberry, the big fella, a stretch big, knocking it down. And the freshman from Centerville, Ohio, ball pass from Hansberry. Big shots. Young guy.
you, Z. You just talked about the Gonzaga Bulldogs, and when you talk about West Virginia's resume, that one stands out from the early part of the season. And wouldn't you know it, the star tonight, Amani Hansberry, had a career-high 19 against Gonzaga in the battle for Atlantis, one of 3 overtime games that the Mountaineers took.
And what you love about Hansberry is watching young players grow up. He's had some great moments, some okay moments this season, but in a big game, he's been really good tonight. He's got a lot of basketball left in his career here at West Virginia.
15 points, 12 boards for Hansberry. It's a 6-point West Virginia lead.
2 screens for Jizzle. Let's see if he can get to the hoop.
High arcer, no good. And another one-and-done offensive possession for Cincinnati.
Yeah, good aggressive move. You can't argue with that. They set 2 screens for him and freed him. Looks like they're going to trap Small now, keep that ball out of his hands. And you want to be judicious with the clock. Traveled, stepped on the line.
So Reed will inbounds for Cincinnati. He has 4 fouls. Jizzle James on the floor with 4 fouls as well. Two minutes to go in the contest.
Harris is good. Good defender. Look at that ball handling.
He bodied him up. Mitchell can't finish. A fight for the loose ball out of bounds. And Doug Sermon says it's West Virginia basketball.
Right. You make a call first, and then you go review it. And that's close because they both had their hands on it. Let's take a look right here. That one's going to be tough to overturn, in my opinion. But a great effort. Now, by rule, you got to make a call, either one way or the other. They did, and now they go review it. First look to me is that it's going to be really hard to overturn that.
Under 2 minutes, officials have the liberty of doing that. So both teams in the bonus. Possession arrow to Cincinnati. No timeouts for West Virginia. 1 left for Wes Miller and Cincinnati. Here's another look.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with my monitor here. I ain't even going to try to figure this out. They got DV Sport over there with 18 different angles.
Yeah.
And
that's a lot of large hands on one small basketball.
And it's still hard for me to tell. They'll zoom in on that. I think it's going to stay West Virginia. But again, we don't have the kind of view that Doug Sermons has over there.
That's Doug on the right, Tommy Johnson on the left. What's at stake in this game? A humongous quad 1 victory to add to each team's NCAA tournament resume. Both of those resumes are shaky at best right now. The odds are that West Virginia would get in, but the odds do not favor the Cincinnati Bearcats if they can't pull off this game.
Without a doubt, the net is good. The strength of schedule for West Virginia is outstanding at 14. They still have to go on the road to Texas Tech, and then also the BYU-Utah trip.
We saw how that turned out for Kansas.
No, it's a trip of horrors. The hardest part about that trip is when you play, instead of 2 games in 3 days, 2 games in 4 days. Because as beautiful as Salt Lake City and Provo are, you're out in the mountains, you got it's almost 3 days off. Like if you play Saturday, you don't play till Tuesday, that's like 3 days. But there's the schedule. If they could get, you know, a TCU, a split on a trip out west, UCF, and then you got the tournament. Obviously, if you win at Texas Tech, it's a monster win. But the door is slightly ajar for this West Virginia team. And let me say this, Rich. It's an amazing coaching job. They return no scoring. They've got all transfers. Their best player hurt early in the year. And Darren DeVries is a star. And no matter what happens, he's done a great job here.
And don't count him out in those road games, even though it's at Texas Tech and at BYU. They have 3 Big 12 road wins already this year. Kansas, Colorado, and at Cincinnati. Their Big 12 road record was 2-25 the prior 3 seasons to Darren DeVries coming and taking over the reins here.
Yeah, this is taking too long. If they're not sure, they ought to stay with the call.
Right.
And they want to get it right because they know what's at stake. And we don't have the monitor they do. I think they're going to bring Tommy Johnson in again. I just don't think they have a great look at it. So,
Call on the forward, West Virginia ball stands.
all right, well,
And as expected, the call stands.
Yeah.
That could have been solved about a minute ago.
yeah, but hey, I don't mind it. I know a lot of fans don't like it, but if it cost you a possession in a game and they got it wrong,
right,
one of these teams would be visibly upset.
Essentially, both teams get an extra timeout.
Yeah, that too. Exactly.
And now the football play out of bounds.
Yes. And pressure by Mountaineer, by the Bearcats. Good outlet.
Hansberry, he's been so sure-handed with the basketball tonight.
They're going to trap him again.
Someone's open.
Not for long.
Hansberry working on Mitchell. Look at the left hand from number 13.
Nice patience by the big guy. There were no outlets. He had the one-on-one. He took his time.
Who says 13's an unlucky number? Thomas got it. Huge 3 for Day Thomas.
What I love what Day did is he got behind the screen where they couldn't switch.
1:11 to go. 5-point West Virginia lead. Come on back to Morgantown.
Saturday, Hoops Heavyweights hit the hardwood on ESPN. First, it's a top 10 showdown in the Big 12.
Boy, does it have a big feel about it.
Then it's Blue Blood
Decades upon decades of sustained excellence.
versus New Blood.
Knocks it down. This team is legit.
A Sonic Blockbuster Saturday. Iowa State, Houston at 2. Kentucky, Alabama at 6 on ESPN.
If West Virginia wins, this young man, Amani Hansberry, is going to remember this night because he has really been good. Watch him back down a defender. There was no outlet, so he had to play one-on-one in the post. Good footwork, good offhand. And then watch Day Thomas on the other end. He's going to hide behind the screen so they can't switch. It's too late. He gets off a good look. And now what you know, Rich, because we've been with Cincinnati a couple of times this year, they are an excellent late game team as far as setting up pressure, trapping, who they want to foul, how to steal it. And it's going to put pressure on West Virginia to get this ball in cleanly.
Both of these teams make their bones on the defensive end of the court. Let's see if Cincinnati's defense could stop this West Virginia offense enough to cut into this 5-point lead. Yesufu triggers the inbounds.
I'd foul Harris. Oh, he's got him.
Here's Hansberry.
No. Good job.
Thought better of it.
Good job, big guy.
1 minute to go in regulation. Now Small's got it. And he finds an open Powell.
He had his head up the whole time.
James for 3. Short.
Got a foul now. Yep.
7-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock. How about this MVP caliber play from Javon Small?
He's been very unselfish tonight. Cincinnati's done a good job. They've thrown big bodies at him. Watch him be trapped in the corner, head up, head up. Finally finds Powell sneaking around on that backside. Cincinnati committed a lot of black jerseys to the ball. And good job by the freshman Powell. How about the freshman and the sophomore tonight?
Yeah, and listen, Jonathan Powell was coming off his worst game of the season. He shot 1 for 12 in that loss at Baylor. But to see him come back when everybody was questioning, has he hit the wall? Is he too young for the late stretches of a Big 12 regular season? All he's done tonight is chip in with 12 points. And although it seems like a rather pedestrian 14 for Javon Small, he also has 4 assists
Yeah,
tonight.
no, he's been good. He's kept the ball moving. I'd like to have seen him be more aggressive for himself, but that's not what he's doing for Darren DeVries. You know, Darren DeVries, a lot of people around here, I got to town yesterday, they asked him about Darren, and there's a comparison, and this is a great one. You ready? He's got the offensive mind of a John Beilein and the defensive toughness of a Bob Huggins.
How about that?
And that's a great way of putting it.
That'll score you some points in Morgantown.
You'll be successful, and he has already. And certainly he wants this one. It keeps him in contention for an at-large bid at some point.
He took his Drake Bulldogs to 3 Final Fours in the last 4 years, led by his son Tucker. This season, he's had a win in Morgantown without the services of Tucker, but win they have. And they're 30 seconds away from another one tonight. Saved. James off to the left. Shot clock is off. The foul from Betsy, and Powell will go to the line. Well, we have 6 college basketball games highlighting our ESPN schedule Saturday. It starts at noon Eastern, but here's some featured matchups. Number 5 Houston, number 8 Iowa State at 2 Eastern. Then it's Virginia, North Carolina at 6 Eastern. Number 17 Kentucky squaring off against number 4 Alabama in a Sonic blockbuster.
Iowa State has a chance to really make some noise. If they want to catch Houston, they have to go in and win. And Houston just a juggernaut.
Skillings chucks it up off the window for 3.
Oh boy, oh boy.
And a turnover. Skillings for 3 again.
Oh boy. Watch out.
Uh-oh, Dan Skillings. 4 seconds left, and it's a 3-point game.
Unbelievable.
A miraculous comeback. Quarterbacked by Dan Skillings, back-to-back 3s.
Well, we talked about Wes Miller playing for Roy Williams, who learned under Dean Smith. Nobody better in late game situations. Watch this first shot. Skillings, that's a Hail Mary. And then they put the pressure on and just sloppy helium pass, and Skillings bangs a second one, and now you have got to get this ball inbounds cleanly.
Dan Skillings with 2 gut-wrenching 3s.
Now the possession arrow will be Cincinnati. I am sure that Wes Miller has told his team that, because you don't have to foul if you can get a quick tie-up. But it's got to be quick because there's only 4 seconds. Don't be surprised if West Virginia sends somebody deep. But you don't want to throw it out of bounds deep.
We've seen the same lineup out of bounds under their own basket. Yesufu, West Virginia had 1 timeout remaining, and they use it.
That's the last one.
Let's talk strategy now, Fran. Take us inside the huddle.
Well, first of all, you're going to keep doing what Cincinnati's doing, which is they're denying everything, Rich. And in this situation, I used to like to bait the team with the ball to try to throw it long, knowing that they might throw it long and out of bounds. They've done a great job of base guarding and keeping the ball in bounds. I think what West Virginia's got to do is, I think you really got to shake loose somebody deep. You either come back hard to the ball and catch it, but remember, the jump ball is not in your favor. I would not be surprised if they throw the home run ball here.
West Virginia gets fouled. They will be shooting 2 free throws. One of those 2 goes in, and the game is academic.
Exactly. Now, even after 2 timeouts, Cincinnati can run the baseline. Excuse me, West Virginia can run the baseline.
This is a quad 1 game. If West Virginia holds on to win this, it'll be their 6th quad 1 win of the year. If Cincinnati could somehow pull off the miracle, it'll be their 2nd quad 1 win this year.
One of the things, Rich, you look around the building right now, a lot of people are heading to the parking lot, and they're standing up at the top by the exit portals. And someone must have said, get back inside, because the game's not over. All right, different alignment, a diamond look.
Yesufu's still inbounds. They get it.
He dropped it.
Knocked out of bounds.
He dropped it. He dropped it. They're going to check it, but he dropped it. This is unbelievable.
Doug Sermons, the lead official, will go check it out at the scorer's table. Here's another look.
It just looks sincere. Harris just dropped it. Well, that's the angle.
Jizzle James got his hand on the ball. It is to be determined who had their hand on it last.
Yeah. We don't have a good view here because the monitors we have aren't what Doug Sermons has. Hard to tell. But they might spend as much time at this monitor as they did the last play because, again, this is the critical play of the game.
And again, it bears mentioning for you watching at home, the officials at the scorer's table have more angles of this than we do showing you at home.
There's a good chance that that ball could be off of Jizzle James.
It did, correct me if I'm wrong, it did look like Doug Sermons said it was Cincinnati basketball.
He did. Now it's got to be conclusive.
An unbelievable turn of events.
Now, if you're Wes Miller, without timeouts, you're setting up two things here. You're setting up the catch and shoot three. Yeah, the referees want to know if we have a good monitor, but we're telling them that it's small.
We're making sure we have angles that we don't know yet.
Okay, what you want to tell?
So, yeah, Chance Moore just came over to tell us the original call is Cincinnati basketball, as we said, but they still have yet to determine if that call is going to stand or be overturned.
Now, if you're Wes Miller, let's talk strategy. He's setting up a play for a three-point shot. Think about this. He's got to not only set up a play for the three-point shot, but in case he doesn't have the ball, he's got to set his press up. But here's the crazy thing. If you're West Virginia, you just had a 9-point lead. You got to decide now whether you're going to foul on a catch, which in this part of the court is absolutely precarious because every situation on this part of the court is going to be catch, shoot quick. And I don't think you can foul a guy in good with intelligence right where that ball is being taken out of bounds. So they're going to have to switch all screens and be really communicative. The other thing I would do here, Rich, is let them back cut. It's going to stand. Okay, Cincinnati ball. 5 guys must play the three-point line if you're West Virginia. You are not getting beat on a 2.
And remember, Cincinnati is playing without one of their three-point marksmen tonight, Seamus Lukosius, who has made a habit of hitting huge threes in his career at Cincinnati.
I don't think I would foul here because of the catch and shoot nature.
So on the floor for Cincinnati.
I would play on the outside. If I were gold jerseys, I would play on the outside. Play on the three-point line. Don't worry about giving up the basket.
Thomas, James, Mitchell, Betsy, and Skilling.
He's open.
Here he is for 3. Short on the three-point attempt. And West Virginia holds on. A nail-biter in Morgantown. But the West Virginia Mountaineers have their 6th quad 1 win of the season.
There was so much movement, great screen, so much movement and confusion that Small fell asleep and Betsy had the look that he needed. Man, he wishes he had that back.
And the freshman Tyler Betsy had a clean look from the top of the key, but came up just short. West Virginia improves to 7-8 in conference play. Cincinnati drops to 5-10. And Darren DeVries and company have their 4th straight home win against Cincinnati, which is the longest in this rivalry. For Fran Fraschilla and our entire ESPN crew, I'm Rich Hollenberg saying so long from Morgantown. Up next, Gonzaga and Washington State. Take it away, Dave Fleming and Chris Spatola.